I mean, it worked.
Take damage, save time. That gaming store up in Guthrie looked pretty nice.
Yeah.
I can talk about this because no one at Edmund Unplugged watches these. Luckily, I wanted on record that I love Edmund Unplugged. I love our gaming store, but one of our previous D&D sessions, it was one of those rare instances where my friends Ginny and Tony beat me to Edmund Unplugged, and it was mostly because I stopped to get something to eat, because if I didn't, I was going to pass out. So I get a text from them, and they're like, yeah, there's not any tables available at Edmund Unplugged. And there's something going on, and it's just mobbed here, and I'm like, oh, that sucks, because you guys had to come all the way up from friggin' south of Oklahoma City to get here. So I'm like, okay, I'll meet you here, and we'll figure out what to do from there. So we go over to one of the local areas where there are a bunch of restaurants, and there's like nice places to sit and whatnot. So I go in and meet them there, and I'm like, you know, there are tables here. It's not optimal, but we could, in theory, play right here. And my friend Ginny is like, no, these benches are terrible. Hang on a minute. So she goes into in this area, one of the bar/restaurants, and goes in and talks to the waitstaff, and comes back out and is like, yeah, they're cool with us doing D&D in here. I'm like, oh, okay. So we go in, and like we talk to the people there, and they're like, yeah, it's been super dead here lately. As long as like you don't disturb other patrons, who there currently are none, we're excited to have you here. This will be entertaining to watch. And we're like, oh, okay. Cool. So we had the D&D session there, and like we asked them, like, can this be a thing? And they're like, we'd love to have you. We're like, this is actually cheaper than renting a table at Edmund Unplugged, and we have much better options for food. Well then. Of course, it does look... I am worried a little bit about that particular complex, because 2 of the restaurants there just closed, and like the past couple of times I've been, it's been not a lot of people there, so I'm kind of worried that it might be dying off, which would be a shame. But yeah, we've absolutely been having D&D in a restaurant. Like my buddy Tony even like made a roll and like lost it under a table, and the wait staff was like, let's get you a broom, this is great. Buy another drink. You don't have to tell me twice. Yeah, it's so surreal, because it's like, wait, we could have, again, as much as I love Edmund Unplugged, and I love Edmund Unplugged, it's just like, oh, I didn't think this would be a viable option, but it is, and it's amazing. I can go get a burger, I can go get pizza, I can get a charcuterie board like several of my friends do here. This is great.
I mean, usually when you talk about dinner and a show, usually it's not the patrons who are the show.
That's only if you go to Walmart.
Why am I just remembering National saying of there's nothing sexy at the Walmart?
Because you used to watch What the Fuck Is Wrong With You?
Yeah. And it comes down to all the nonsense that happens at the Walmart.
Yep.
Yep.
And I don't know if we can bring up what those people did to earn those stories.
Not on this channel, you're not.
Just
Look, I know I got the channel set not safe for kids.
There's not safe for kids, and then there's not safe for kids.
There's not safe for kids, and there's not safe for humanity.
Yeah. Let's put it this way: the early days were a case of sharing the Cards Against Humanity streams. I always putting the title warning, not safe for work.
Yep.
And yeah, this is not Nash's show, so I don't think we can quite get away with talking about some of the things that get brought up on that show.
No.
Like a recent cargo spill in Oklahoma.
yeah.
I looked at that and I was like, that's not terribly far from where I used to work.
I'd be more concerned if it was going to your former job.
No, knowing some of my former coworkers. Oh God, I don't know if I can share that story.
I mean, I could see from what you've said, I could see some of your coworkers absolutely ordering a lot of that for pranks.
So, Christmas party, the one Christmas party I managed to make it to, there was a Dirty Santa gift, White Elephant gift, and some of the gifts were more clever than others. And like any good white elephant, you can steal gifts from others, and that causes like chain reactions of stealing things. The gift I wound up with was dish soap because one of my former coworkers didn't quite get the spirit of it. But anyway, some of the gifts were really good. Some of them were clever. One of them was a gift card to a store of an adult nature, shall we say. And so like someone opens that gift and they're like, oh cool, it's a gift for store name here. And then like there was a limit on how many times a gift could be stolen. The husband of the executive director of the place I used to work comes up. He immediately just gets up, walks over there. Yoink! I'll be taking that. Sits back down, and his wife, the executive director, who is like every time I've ever interacted with her in general, she always was like in very prim and proper business attire, very. Like, she had a sense of humor, but, like, she always passes herself off very professionally, but she's suddenly, like, beet red and, like, trying not to laugh. And we're all just like, this is hilarious.
Now, you're talking about this is Nassie's show, just to jump back to the topic. And I've actually entertained the idea of possibly doing something like that, reacting to stupid news or video game news or something like that. And I thought, nah, that just won't work.
You'd have to get the right kind of news for that, I feel like.
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome to the new channel, Raven After Dark.
And the problem is there's just a lot of overlap nowadays.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I look at the Loading Ready One crew, and it's a case of the last two news items. A case of they could have had 2 weeks where they're basically covering the same stuff, and they just refuse to. But what's the point? Oh god, the day comes where I just make the Raven After Dark channel in case of what's that wrong about? That's where every fucking limit gets dropped.
Yes.
What do we do? I don't know, but you don't want to know. we make the channel, Star comes up with the first idea. That's dirty! We can't possibly do that! Let's do that.
It's... That's the one we get Carl in.
Oh yeah, that's the channel we reserved for the Leisure Suit Larry series for.
That came up at my old job at one point. Former coworker of mine, who was also an avid gamer, like he would occasionally come in and we'd talk video game things. But like I mentioned that like I'm in a couple of channels where we do Let's Plays and streams, and
oh fuck this one.
And so he comes in one day, and like he's a couple years older than me. And sometimes I had trouble understanding his accent because he was from another country. So it took me a minute to process what he was saying. But he comes in and is like, "You do videos?" "Yeah." "Have you ever done a video of Leisure Suit Larry?" And I'm like, "Have I ever done a video of..." Oh no. Oh no.
I pity the poor fool who finds that as like a childhood nostalgia.
Like I remember.
I know a guy.
The guy who got us a lot of the computer games we played as a kid, former coworker, like an FBI IT guy, guy by the name of Vinny, who lived at our house sometimes. Great guy, we loved him. But like he got us Space Quest. He got us a lot of adventure games. I know for a fact he had Leisure Suit Larry on a floppy disk, and like I know he played it at our house once, but immediately uninstalled it and was like, "Yeah, this is definitely not for." This is not for 4-year-old Lantern or 6-year-old Courage.
It's like that one scene in the Rugrats. This is for when you kids go to bed.
Yeah, like, not infrequently when Vinny would come over, he'd bring over software he got at a bargain bin. Like, and like he was the one who helped us set up our first computer, a Gateway 2000 PC, which was Windows 3.11 at the time, but we later put Windows 95 on it. But like he got us Goblins 3, he got us Jazz Jackrabbit and OMF. He got us Space Quest 4. There were a bunch of just random-ass bargain pieces of software he'd find and bring to us and be like, "Here you go," and it's just like, "Oh boy, thanks, Vinny, let's go out for pizza later." Okay.
And didn't he also bring a snapping turtle?
Oh yeah, he was absolutely the snapping turtle guy.
Oh god, he's the one.
Yeah. This little 5'0" Italian man.
Hey kids, go look at this.
Yeah.
Freaking nightmare camera in the back.
The first... He was also the one who introduced me to the concept of a rock opera, which I didn't get until later, but he was listening to Tommy in his car one time when he was taking me and my brother out somewhere, picking us up from something, or, you know, that sort of deal. He was also the one who introduced me to the Rolling Stones, because the first Rolling Stones song I remember hearing was with him, and for some reason I thought it was hilarious because, again, I was like friggin' 5. It was "Hey You, Get Off of My Cloud." But yeah, you could argue that at least the very origins of my taste in music are partly Vinny's fault. It was largely cemented by Courage, but partly Vinny's fault.
Also, I guess now I get that one joke Hades made in Hercules.
When Hades made that joke, because, like, I didn't know friggin' band names when I was a little kid, But when he made that joke, I'm like, I know that song! I know that song! Who does it? Where is it? There's no internet yet!
What's an internet?
The internet, we had to do a book at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You spend many hours in the libraries doing research for stupid papers.
When we got Encarta 95, it was like a game changer. What's Encarta 95? Shut up, you damn kid.
Get off my lawn.
I remember actually having to go to the library at college to look up research papers, because that was the only place to find them.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had networking capability in the dorms, but internet was still just, you know, bulletin boards at the time.
I know when my mom was in grad school, which was about when I was in elementary school and when you would have been in college, she did at least one assignment on a typewriter. We got the computer pretty quickly after that. And I feel like my sister did a couple of assignments on typewriter as well.
I remember in high school. No, not even high school. It was back in middle school. Computers were still not not a household appliance like they are today. And I believe it was even 8th grade. I had a science teacher. The science teacher told us that if any of us dared to use a typewriter or a computer to print out reports, there would be extra harsh grading for, you know, formatting and such.
Okay.
I remember our computers in elementary school, because, like, when I was in elementary school, it was right around the time that, Windows was becoming the big common operating system.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, it hadn't quite filtered down to schools yet. So, like, I remember using those old IBM computers. I don't even remember the operating system for them, but, like, they very much didn't have fucking Windows on them. And then it was only when I was in, like, the 4th and 5th grade that the school got a computer lab with Windows on the computer. And I remember, like, because I was a gigantic-ass nerd, going to my special Saturday nerd school thing off in Orange County. One of those ones I did involved doing shit on computers, and they were all Apple, so absolutely none of my work, which we saved to, like, floppy disks, could be displayed on any computer in my area. Just as well, I'm pretty sure it was all shit anyway, because I was, like, 2nd grader doing shit on an old Apple thing. And we had that one kid in elementary school, and, like, I knew her from elementary school. She went to friggin' college with me. I think she's, like, a history teacher down in North Carolina now. But anyway, like, her and her family were, like, the one dedicated Apple user in my elementary and middle school, and even in high school, like, even though that's when Mac started having its renaissance, like, none of the school stuff used Apple things, so, like, anytime she did an assignment that involved using a computer, she had to go jump through a lot of hoops to, like, reformat anything into anything that would be usable for anybody anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You want to use a what? Not a chance.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. It's like, nobody fucking uses Apple. Are you crazy? And now, like... I know the last couple of times I've replaced my computer, like, I've been like, you know, I hear good things about Apple in terms of reliability. Maybe I should investigate that. No.
Nope.
No, I'm not spending that much money. No.
Yeah.
I know it'll make Apple fans mad, but I don't want to join their cult.
Yeah.
Like, my mom has constantly have to replace her iPhone. I've barely had to replace my Android.